So I do want to welcome all of you in attendance for today's webinar. This is Allison Rowe. I'm the Director of Marketing for PriceAdvantage, and we also have with us Josh Tippin. He's our presenter today. So during today's call, we do have the audio muted. If you have questions, feel free to use the question function on your toolbar or raise your hand. I want to welcome you. I'm excited to have Josh do our presentation today. Josh is the Director of Automated Facilities for Quick Fuel. He's been a customer of both divisions of Skyline products, including the gas price sign division and PriceAdvantage, who uses both of our products. Today's webinar is to highlight overall not just things that he's used from Skyline, but overall his strategy and some of the things that he's implemented within his automated card lock locations to really help him increase fuel sales. So I'm going to give Josh control here in just a second. Again, if you have any questions, raise your hand, ask the question, or use the question toolbar. And it's really exciting. Josh has had some great successes with his company, had some incredible growth. So we're going to listen to see what he has to say about his organization and what he has done. So Josh, I'm going to let you take over.
All right, thank you, Allison.
Can you tell us a little bit about Quick Fuel?
Sure. So again, thanks for everybody for being on. Good morning. Quick Fuel is a family-owned business, fourth generation, started in 1919 with home heating oil, coal, and then slowly throughout the years kind of evolved into what we are today, which is a full fuel provider for pretty much most markets. We're basically comprised of 3 different divisions within our company. We have specialty fueling, where we do main events. We do 10 NASCAR races a year. We do a lot of PGA Tour events for CBS. From a generator fill, we've done several Super Bowls historically, and that's mainly our specialty event where we come on site, do generator fills. We also are in 25 states with our mobile fueling wet hosing division, where we have 200 trucks, where we fuel domicile fleets during certain time frames and try to meet their needs. And then we have our 52 automated facilities, or card locks, and that's pretty much what I'm involved in as a director for the company.
Let's talk a little bit about kind of the differentiator for Quick Fuel, because I thought it was really interesting when we spoke about, I don't know, 2 months ago, regarding some of the things that you've done and your goals and your differentiator, especially when you explain the difference between your card lock facilities and retail and what gives you the competitive advantage.
Sure. So we started our card lock business in the early 80s, and they were key locks then, and many of you that have been in this industry for a while are familiar with that term. And then we slowly evolved to try to make a better fueling experience for customers. And then there was that lull that I think most people in this line of business went through in the 90s and early 2000s, where everybody cash cowed these properties, basically let them run themselves, very few upgrades from a technology standpoint. You know, most of the ones that I've come across historically still running the old gas boy or Tokheim pumps, really not moving at the pace that retail does, where you see a lot more investing in technology from a new pump standpoint in the Krend dispensers and going from there. About 5 years ago, the company, we kind of started taking a different approach and a different look. I had a history with retail from Flying J pre-bankruptcy, and as I came on and started working with, there was a lot of potential here. I mean, these stations did really well historically, but we started seeing a lot of attrition. You know, the marketplace kind of shifted, the competitive nature with the increase in the big box retail, as well as the unbranded large chains that started coming in, that I'm sure most of you are familiar with, that have moved to nearly every free corner of space that there is. There's really a lot of potential between what we offer versus what they offer. So one thing that differentiates us from retail from a card lock standpoint or automated facility, which if you have automated facilities, you're familiar with it, is most of our sites are designed for high volume. You know, we run master satellite dispensers. the way we market them, we go for a core demographic, our core customer base, the class 3, 4, 5, 6 trucks, box trucks, local delivery freight, wrecker service. And we really promote what we actually sell, in addition to the fuel, is time. I think that's a huge aspect across the board. Overhead is the highest cost that most of these companies come across. And if we can reduce the fueling time, we felt like we've done, them a justice. But we got to be competitive when we do it, and that's a key component as well. But where Quick Fuel will differentiate itself from retail, the average retail fill up at a big box for a Class 8 truck, you're looking at a 23-minute turnaround on a good day. I've seen some of the larger big box retails that it's a 45-minute wait to get in and off the lot. We really try to tout, the 8-minute on and off the lot pavement time. We have master satellite, like I discussed. We're running 45, 50 gallon per minute flow rates so that we can do that. And within the last 5 years, we really have taken a look at what can we do to better enhance our customer experience. One of the key components was, when we started looking at this, is we need to reinvigorate these sites. They've kind of, I'm sure as many of you have come across, other card likes, the investment that was in, as we discussed, was minimal. So we wanted to look at, if we invest more money, what would that return be? And that's where we started looking at, upgrading our card readers, pedestals, even Crend that we have, and really getting a software that we feel like could take us into the future. And we kind of equated it to going from 8-track to the cloud. So we skipped CD, cassette, everything in the middle, and went straight to the cloud with what we had. And we did that with Comdata's smart site system, running their system for our point of sale, basically. We accept every fuel card, so it was important to us to have a robust system that could process every fuel card and could expand. That was one of the key points we'd come across with our older system. We'd kind of hit the maximum allowable. We didn't have any more. We didn't have the ability to expand our card portfolio anymore. And today, I'm pretty sure we accept every major fuel card there is out there, as well as bank card as well.
How did you?
Go ahead.
Josh, how did you change in the way you address the audience? Because we talked about you're upgrading, but you also started targeting not just the commercial accounts, but retail. Is that correct? Like the general consumer?
One thing in any business strategy, as many of you know, is we had to define, where to play and how to win. We're really big on that here at Quick Fuel. We know we can't be everything to everybody. We have to really pick and choose what it is that we want to be great at. We as a company do not like the word participate. It's not really in our vocabulary. We're not going to go into a market or have a market where we just participate. We want to win in every market that we're in, and we're really focused on the winning portion versus just participating. And when we did that, when we defined where to play and how to win, we did it from a geographical standpoint, we did it from a demographic standpoint, and we did it from a financial standpoint. Where can we get the most margin so we get the most return on our investment? Where are most of the customers that are going to be domiciled in an area as a core business? And then what OTR business can we capture as many of our locations are major thoroughfares? Well, every gallon that you increase, you take from somewhere. And these assets are 24/7 availability, but they're not necessarily pumping 24/7. So we saw that as an opportunity to help us grow a little bit. And we looked at that from a couple different offerings. One, we outfitted all our stations with RFID technology through QuickQ. But two, really, with my background, one of the biggest complaints that you came across in the big box retail was, I had to wait in line behind this guy because he went in to get his hot dog, use the restroom, or talk to Sally or Bob behind the counter for 5 minutes, and therefore I had to wait behind him. So from a truck stop amenity standpoint, we felt like there's some things that we can offer the market at a faster pace. What are we good at? We're good at getting people on and off the lot. Well, where can we enhance that? And that's when we came up and designated our moniker for the automatic truck stop, which was really aimed at giving that customer the ability to get everything that they need but get back out on the road. We started with 2 beta stations for that. One was in Memphis, Tennessee, and one was in Clark Howell. As you guys can see, if we move through some of these slides, one of the slides that Allison has on here, it has our old logo, and that's basically it was just a white canopy with our name on it, and really we touted it as commercial fleet fueling. You know, that was our CFS, commercial fueling station, and now we've kind of gone after the ATS where we really market towards retail. One of the key components that tells somebody that you're open to the public, because that was one of our largest complaints when we polled our customers or we went after prospects, I didn't know I could use you. I didn't know that you were open to me. I didn't know you accepted my fuel card. We got all this type of complaints, and that was a marketing issue. But when you're marketing a fuel station, the first thing that people look for to see if you're open to them and open to public is a retail price sign. We felt like we could take the card lock from a basic asset that had business during certain hours, which, you know, most of our business was that 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. peak time, and we never really captured a lot of that drive-by business because we didn't market ourselves as being open. We did a lot of research from what price sign do we want to use and how do we want to manage that price sign, and that's where our relationship with PriceAdvantage and Skyline really came into fruition, was our need to facilitate and give our customers a better offering. Back to the ATS, the automatic truck stop, price sign was a big part of that, but we also invested heavily in self-cleaning restrooms. You know, a lot of people, when you tell them that, they kind of look at you funny, but we flew to Canada, met with a company in Canada that built restrooms that clean themselves, because our site techs that come to our sites on a daily basis are there for maintenance purposes, from making sure the breakaways are put back in place, all the pumps are running correctly, there's washer fluid, the normal things that they want. We didn't really want them being bathroom attendants. So with a small investment there, we installed 2 of them as a beta, and we get several thousand door open and closes a month now from these sites where we have these automatic restrooms, and they're just like they're advertised. They have nozzles in the floor that pop up, wash the floor, wash the walls, clean the toilet, all that, and then go through a drying cycle. They're air conditioned for the summer, they're heated for the winter, and they're graffiti proof, fireproof. I mean, barring a sledgehammer, they're pretty much, you know, can handle a truck style life for the most part. So now, that was Josh, a big amenity. Go ahead.
That's really interesting. So I'm showing the slide of your newer version of your facility now, and is that the building that we see sort of in the lower right-hand corner of this slide?
It is. It is. That is one of the units that we bought. It came in already pre-built. They installed it. We had the plumbing and everything put in. And to keep out vagrants, one of the key components of all of this hinged on our foundation of technology, getting started and really enhancing what we could and couldn't do. Petroliter, which is the software that runs SmartSite from Comdata, has given us, and it's an enormous tool for us to be able to do things that historically we wouldn't have been able to do. One of those things is now at the bottom of the receipt we have varying codes that open the door to the restroom. So when you get your receipt, if you want a printed receipt, you can, at the bottom of your receipt, it's going to give you 2 codes. One code you can use for the restroom to unlock. The other enhances the other portion of the ATS that we put in that you can't see a picture of, and that was we purchased Shop 24 unit, vending unit. It's a large, probably 10 by 8, 12 by 14 vending machine. It's all glass in the front with a touch screen, holds 180 SKUs. You know, as we went through and polled our current customers, what can we do to better service you? We got a lot of remarks of, hey, I come to you because you're fast for fuel. I like that portion of it for my drivers. But then they still go to the retail to pick up their Mountain Dew and 3 Musketeer. And as we went through our trash over a period of time, we found it full of 20-ounce bottles, candy wrappers, and chip wrappers. So to enhance and to really bring full loop that ATS design, we put in that what we call automatic convenience store, because really it holds all the key components that you would want It's no longer the roll out the can out the bottom. It's a fully robotic, automatic, 200 SKU vending machine that you get to see the product, and it carries a large variety of products from energy drinks to Advil. You know, you can name it. We pretty much carry it in those, and we found a lot of good success with that. With the code that you get that enhances that, based on your gallon volume, it's a percentage off or a dollar amount off of your purchase there. So, for example, you buy 65 gallons, we give you $1 off. The 20-ounce drinks are $1.85, so you're paying 85 cents for a 20-ounce drink. Those that do more, and we can set it up by customer for loyalty, the higher you go, the more you can get off to where you can get your free drinks, much like Big Box does, Big Box truck stops do for their customers. We looked at doing self-cleaning showers, but at the end of the day, that really detracted from our quick in and out. We feel like this enhances it. The little bit of slowdown you might get from the quick in and out is enhanced, that you don't have to stop again somewhere else to get those type of amenities. But all that hinged on us really taking a step back and saying, what do we want to be when we grow up from a card lock company? And with our 52 stations, we decided that we wanted to be, you know, a full service player. Not all of our stations will be outfitted with the ATS model, because not all of them are conducive in the marketplace, but we do have several per year scheduled. We started with 2, and that's where we went in with 2 Skyline signs, and then we're going forward this year. We just put in another order to where we can start moving forward, and our goal is to really do 12 to 15 stations a year on our rebrand. The slide that she's showing you with the black canopy and the red Q, that's our new brand, and we plan on having all our stations rebranded here within the next 3 years in our rollout. Really, Allison, I'll go into PriceAdvantage a little bit here if you want, or we can go through.
Sure. Yeah, well, and also I was going to say, I think we have a slide here we've talked about, like the forecourt and the payment solutions, but you've really covered most of this. You talked about your pumps, your RFID vendor. One thing I was wondering if you want to hit on any of these other technology solutions that you brought in. I know you talked about some fraud control and some notifications and tank monitoring. I think those are all really interesting as well. Because you guys really invested a lot in technology to sort of just tie everything together, which quite honestly, I'm pretty amazed at these self-cleaning restrooms that are tied in with your ComData smart site system, so you can control who can get in and get out. And I just think it's amazing. Do you want to talk about any of these other technologies that you're using? Okay.
Again, as I alluded to in the beginning, most of this industry from a card lock standpoint was cash cowed over the years, and the investment in them was minimal. So one of the things we felt like we had a good handle on, and we'll use Memphis as an example because that's really where a lot of this is based off of. Our station in Memphis was putting along, so to speak. We were looking at a 60,000 to 80,000 a month gallon usage from so many customers in the marketplace, and it was somewhat consistent there. One thing we found is you can't expect great results without putting great effort in, and I think that's a known. So we took Memphis and we said, okay, once we get through with our vision of what we want to be here in this marketplace, how much can this site really handle? What's the capacity, maximum capacity, and then how do we achieve that? Well, one thing we knew we had to do is we had to upgrade our pumps, just like we'd already upgraded our brain. The first step for Quick Fuel was to upgrade the technology that housed everything, the brain, the ComData Smart Site system from our Trendar older system that we had. So in doing that and moving it to the broadband and basically taking it, like I said, from the 8-track to the cloud, now we had to upgrade some of our other equipment. We took pumps that were Tokheim pumps. Tokheim's no longer in business, getting parts. Moving forward, that was very challenging. We went to the Wayne Vistas on our high volume side and the new Wayne Helix on the low volume side. We did that for unleaded and USLD because we carry both products. In that upgrade of going to Smart Site, we also partnered with QuickQ RFID system and ComData, which was a reseller of the QuickQ system. and we've really had a lot of interest and success in doing that, which helps us on the fraud control. It really speeds up the process, and our customers like not having to carry plastic where they can do RFID transactions. We have all our sites outfitted with that. Really, the notifications that came from the pumps, now customers from the Smart Site system, if they don't want a paper receipt, they don't have to get one. We'll email them a receipt and immediately upon that pump hang up to a designated email address, whether that's their accounting department, their manager, or to themselves. They'll get that receipt emailed immediately. We also, in the Smart Site system, have a dashboard that's built in that lets us know when we do have issues, so that where we used to be reactive, a customer would call us, hey, your pump's not working. Now on our dashboard, we get an alert. Here at Quick Fuel, we have a command center that is monitoring not only our wet hosing mobile fueling assets, but also our automated sites. The dashboard will come up and say you have a problem at this facility in Memphis, pump 8 is offline, or pump 8, whatever the diagnostics can give us is slow pumping, which is defined by the thresholds that we put in. And then we can either dispatch service to that, or we can do a remote reset to get everything back going the way it's supposed to. But now, or when the customer calls in, yes, customer XYZ, we're aware of that. We have an ETA to have that fixed within X. We felt like that was enhancing the customer experience, as opposed to, well, it's not working, I'm going somewhere else. We didn't really want that attrition. The tank monitoring, TLS system that we use, that's pretty much, most people use the different tank monitoring systems. We try to tie that in, and I'll get into where we use PriceAdvantage and what we look for from PriceAdvantage. And then one of the things we talked about was fleet cards and credit cards. There's not many that we don't take, I don't believe. If it's out there, we either have it going through to be added, or it already is. And I can tell you, I can't think of one. I've been in this industry for 10 years that we don't accept. That's a major player. At the same time frame, we enhanced and launched our mobile app, which gives every driver the ability to do a couple things. One, to get turn-by-turn directions via Google Analytics. You can see public price, the retail price, or you can see our private price, as we offer multiple pricing tiers based on the amount of volume that these customers do, so they can look at the price daily. We also push that price out to them to a main email or fax line if they need it. And the forecourt and payment, that's pretty much most of that at a high level. And now, really, we need to get into why did you guys join the call? And that's for PriceAdvantage and Skyline, and what have we done there, and what's the successes we've seen. I can tell you that with PriceAdvantage, our relationship with them started a little over 3 years ago, and that was the first relationship we had with the company as a whole. We were doing a very manual process to set our retail price. It included not only surveys from each market. As you can see, we're in several different states, 25 markets, several card locks in different cities. The retail market is different, 2 blocks from each other everywhere. We wanted to be competitive and standardize our price per market versus it just being an astronomical amount or being too far under. So it was a very tedious process. We use Opus to get basically a lot of surveys, the Opus Radius report that we contract out for, and we tie that to a 3-mile radius at this point. And the reason why it's 3 miles, because we really try to work in a domicile 3-mile or 10-minute drive time. Once you get outside of that range, we found that the savings that a customer might receive from time pumping or the discounted fuel price isn't outweighed by the drive time or the distance that they have to go based on miles per gallon. So really, that's kind of what we did. And again, it was human manipulated daily, which leads to human error. We had 4 people touching it. It would start with one person. They would build a certain amount. Then it would go to another person to kind of sift through it, and make sure that we had the right numbers in the right spots. And then it would go to another person to enter it to our ERP system. That way, it would take effect at the designated time that the new price went into place. We had several hours of labor tied up into that. We had several resources tied up into that. And we also had a lot of human error. When you're dealing with this many sites, multiple products, you end up with the ability to fat finger a lot of things, and we found that was a little bit detriment to us. So we came across PriceAdvantage at a trade show. I believe it was at the Impact Show in Indianapolis. They had a booth set up there, and we really started discussing with the sales rep, here's what I do, what can this do for me? And what we found was it did everything we were doing, but it automated it all. That was, to me and to the business, that was a very attractive offering. So we started going down the road a little bit more with them. They worked with us because PriceAdvantage is really keen to retail unleaded, and they really worked with us to gear a version to us for USLD, because that's 90% of our business is diesel. And then really we didn't have price signs, so they worked with us to where we could publish that number better and come up with that number faster so that we could load it into our app so that we could show retail there. We knew a price sign was where we wanted to go, but we weren't quite there yet. This was the first building block. So we had immediate return on the investment from an hourly wage and a personnel standpoint and a human error standpoint. Those three components right there made PriceAdvantage valuable at a very topical level. And at that point, we were only using what I would probably say is less than 10% of what PriceAdvantage can do for you. To date, we're probably up to 30% of what PriceAdvantage can do for us, and we're in the process of tying in a lot of new functionality that it does to our system. One of the key things that we're working on now with our rep and developers is, as we start adding volume in to this and replacement cost components and a weighted average cost component to help us adjust our cost pricing and our posted price on a regular basis so that we can maximize our profitability on a regular basis. It's a huge thing for us as to where used to our antiquated was we had one strategy for all 52 locations, and that was to be at X, and we might be leaving a lot on the table, or we might be overcharging, which is driving attrition. So this has really helped us pull in line some of our attritions, because now we're better priced for the market, but we're also not leaving revenue on the table. And that's to some of the things that, Allison alludes to on this slide is this really helped us define the number and the margin that we wanted to be at, and that helped us increase our net income by 45% over the last 2 years, which in this world, that's in a pennies game, every penny counts. It's a huge asset for us to be able to have this tool. We talked, people have asked me before about PriceAdvantage. Pricing is an art form. What PriceAdvantage is for us, it's a better paintbrush. We were probably painting with a roller almost, and now we're down to a finer paintbrush to really get to the details that we needed to, that enhance us as a company. It enhances the offering that we give to our customers, and going forward from there.
So let's talk about that Memphis location, because that was on the previous slide.
Sure.
Here we go. Okay, so you first started out with PriceAdvantage, and so you've upgraded your locations. You've done all of this automation, and you've got this beautiful new canopy. So that's what the location looks like. And then I'm going to skip just a couple of more slides, because you talked about your price signs. So this is probably one of the coolest retail price signs that I've seen come from our Skyline division, and working with you on this. And is this particular price sign at that same location? Is this your Memphis location?
It is. It is. Our location in Memphis is right on a major thoroughfare. We're located 1 mile from 2 PFJs, 2 Pilot Flying J's. We're located 3 miles from a Love's, and then they're on the same road. So we have a lot of major traffic that comes through there, and we have a lot of competition in that marketplace. Once we knew that we could once we knew that we could handle the capacity, then it was, what strategy do we go to town with, and then how do we let customers know, here's what we are, and we're open to the public. So we used to have a sign there that basically just said quick fuel. It was white, it was small, it was about 20 feet off of the ground, and you really couldn't see it. We went to task with Skyline and our box manufacturer and said, what's the maximum the city will allow us, and then what can we do? So we ended up coming up with this design through various iterations. This is a 25-foot pylon. It's visible. This picture was taken at dusk. During the day, everything that you see white is a 3M chrome. Everything at night, that 3M chrome is transparent, that it shows through is white. We have 24-inch Skyline price panels in there. They're RFI, they're radio frequencied over to our main building for price changing, that when we do our price changes, and that comes directly from PriceAdvantage. We set the price in PriceAdvantage, and then when we designate the time, it kicks over the change to the pumps and the change to the price sign. Again, we're automated. We're 100% automated. We don't have brick and mortar there. We don't have a store desk where somebody can walk out there and flick a button and change. So the uptime of this is extremely important. That's another huge value to us, and I talk about that all the time. If this sign doesn't turn on or these numbers don't show, people assume we're closed and we lose business. That's one of the key components to why I chose Skyline in addition to PriceAdvantage, is because it's the same company, the communication is there, there's a lot of redundancies back and forth to make sure that this product works 100% of the time for us. That's huge, because I have a site tech in Memphis, but he may not be there, and he may be, an hour away on the weekend. It's not as if I have somebody right there at the store that can walk outside and toggle a switch. I need this to be 100% up and work all the time. Once we put this, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the location that you had the huge growth in, right?
Right, and that's where I was going. Like I said, this facility did 60 to 80,000 a month pretty much consistently. After we put in the new pumps, the new logo, the new look, the price sign, the restroom, everything, all of those things did a couple things for us. One, it showed that, we had several customers thought we were a new company taking it over because of such a dramatic change. That's kind of a compliment, but it also shows you where you were deficient in the past. So we kind of took it both ways as a ways to improve our other stations. This sign drives business for us. There's no doubt in my mind that when this sign went up and we turned it on, it started driving business. Almost immediately, our transactions doubled coming out of that facility. Within a couple of months, once people got used to it and we started driving a price strategy there to where we were competitive with the big boxes that were really close to us, we started we're averaging now about 275,000 gallons a month there, as to where we were only doing 60 to 80. All of that, it's not a doubt in my mind, and we have case studies that we're doing internally. What price point do we have to be at that makes a difference compared to our competitors? But all of this increase, we had some local sales pressure for our anchor tenants, our anchor accounts, the corporate trucks that can dictate. The majority of this is owner-operator-led drive-by business that was driving by us every day for years and never pulled in there because they didn't know it was us, or we weren't pricing it correctly, or the facility was under the broken windows policy, wasn't clean, tidy enough, didn't look good enough, wasn't well lit enough, all the things that deter somebody from turning right. We have a huge campaign here at our corporate office that we really focus on, and that's our Turn Right campaign. What can everybody do to make a customer turn right versus left and go to a competitor? This is one of those driving factors that helps this piece of real estate that's open 24/7 get value 24/7. We saw an increase in total margin. Our ROI, the amount of money that we spent there, we paid for, it back in 8 months, which was a huge opportunity for us to take this model and where else can we do it. Now that we've proven this works, where else can we duplicate those type of results? And that's what we're doing now. We've ordered several more of these 25-foot pylons where cities will allow us in different markets where we feel like we can attract that type of business. And we also have monument, which are lower to the ground based on city ordinance, monument type signs that have 18-inch Skyline panels in them. And we're also going where we don't see the benefit of a monument or a pylon to canopy-based price signs in certain markets where we'll have 24 and 18-inch canopy signs on our canopy for the pricing. So we've seen enough out of the Skyline product to say, hey, the investment that we're putting in there, the ROI is short enough that, you know, it's a worthy investment for us. You know, we keep a rolling massive spreadsheet that has multiple parts to it that, you know, we can plug and play numbers to get to the end game that tells us whether it's a smart decision or not based on local retail knowledge. And, you know, we're very pleased with where we've come from, not only pricing all of our locations, but then what we've been able to accomplish with a public offering, a retail offering in this Skyline product. So both products in tandem. You know, people say, well, why'd you pick Skyline over the other many various ones? And if you've ever been to a trade show, there's 100 people that have a price sign. Well, there's a couple things that drove me to Skyline. One, it's obviously the sister company of PriceAdvantage. That's huge because I have one phone call. I have a one-stop shop. Hey, I'm having a problem with this, or this isn't working. And that person, that salesperson, my key account manager, he then starts working the phone and figuring out what it is that we need to do. He sets up a call if there's an issue, and we're all on it at the same time. Same thing, an enhancement. Hey, I want to start doing this. How do I do it? No problem, Josh. Let's get together and let's start working on this. That really drove me towards the Skyline product from PriceAdvantage. I can also say that the PriceAdvantage customer service that they've given me as they work through us learning this, because we didn't know what we didn't know, and then working through the Murphy's Law of things that happen, also told me it is such a good customer service on that aspect. If it's half as good on the Skyline side, then I'm still winning, and it's equivalent. There's nothing greater for me, and we tell our customers all the time, let us worry about your fuel, you worry about what you do best, delivering freight or delivering or servicing your customers. Same thing that PriceAdvantage Skyline do for me. Basically, they say, you worry about what you do, getting the gallons in. Let us worry about the behind the scenes, the signs, and how we work PriceAdvantage, which we control the formulas and the strategies for. Also, the quality of the sign. Sorry, Allison. The quality of the sign.
I was going to say, Josh, go ahead.
The quality compared to the others that I looked at, you know, I've toured the factory there, and I'm just amazed. I mean, you could go through a lot of different things as the Mr. Rogers neighborhood of adult of how do you go through and how does a price sign made and where do they source their LEDs from? Why are their LEDs different from their competitors' LEDs? What's the lifespan of these? All of those things were part of our pro forma where we put together and said which company we're going to go with, and the competition wasn't close. And that, you know, again, is a testament to what they do as a company, and I think that other people hopefully can see the value in as well that we have.
Well, Josh, so, we do have a question, and it's going actually back to PriceAdvantage, clarifying. The question is, you said you use PriceAdvantage to change prices. Does this system change your prices multiple times throughout the day or just once?
So there's a couple factors that determine that. Some states you can't change your price multiple times a day. So where we can, we have strategies in place that we could do that. We choose not to right now. If you remember, I said we use probably 30% of what PriceAdvantage can do. I do know of other retail stations that use PriceAdvantage that change it multiple times a day. You know, at 5 o'clock, their price may go up 2 or 3 cents if they're on the right side of the road, and that's where traffic flow is going, because PriceAdvantage can show you those possible gains. I know some of the people that use PriceAdvantage that I talked to before, you know, as I surveyed, is this the product that we want? That was one of the things that they were high on is, yeah, I can change multiple times a day. That way I can capture volume. We've started doing different strategies per day, but we technically only change one time a day, and that has more to do with our ERM, our JDE software that we're working through to get it to change multiple times a day. It's not a limitation of PriceAdvantage. It's our ERP system that has the limitations at the moment. But it is a goal of ours going forward. We want to be able to change it multiple times a day in the retail markets where we see fit, if it's possible there.
All right. We do have another question, and I'm going to ask this for, I think it's Cecil. Let's see if if I'm asking it properly. She's asking, do they have a price increase for ComData customers? And I'm not quite sure what that means.
Do we have a price increase for ComData customers? So I think what you're asking is, do ComData customers...
cash credit.
No, so we don't do a cash credit. We treat it all the same. We don't do cash, obviously, because we don't have a person there. We're automated. Does the POS allow for that? Ours is Smart Site. They also have a product called Smart Desk, which is their inside the store POS, and it's very versatile. It can do cash credit across the board. We've certified several cards on the outside side. They've certified the remaining cards on the inside side, so it's a very robust, full system for them across the board. I'm a proponent for them as well. If they're a partner with me, I'm more than happy to be a partner with them, and that's my relationship with Skyline and PriceAdvantage is we're a good partner. Doing the same thing with ComData for sure. They have a very robust product that can do those things. I hope that answered that question.
Yeah, and as far as PriceAdvantage goes, it does. I believe we just completed an integration with ComData, and it does offer cash credit within the PriceAdvantage tool as well. So if you do have a question, you can simply use the question tool on the toolbar here, because we are getting these typed in. Because I think we're just about through the slides, aren't we, Josh, on this?
Yeah, we are. I think so.
Yeah. And we're getting close on time, but those of you that are on, if you'd like to ask a question of Josh, just type it into the question toolbar and we'll run it through. I think it's interesting how you've gone through just like everything that you've upgraded. Because just in our market, we're based in Colorado Springs, and I know we have some Card Luck locations, and historically some of these companies are, have been around for a long time, and their locations for their Card Luck stops are amazing spots because they established these Card Luck locations 30, 40 years ago. And I look at what you've done, and I think, gosh, these guys could really capture a lot of the market just in Colorado Springs if they, would implement some of the things that you've done, because their site locations are fantastic.
Well, I think what the question that everybody has to ask themselves on this side of the business is, what do you want to be when you grow up? If you're content with the volume that you have today and you have low attrition, which I find hard to believe with the competitive landscape that it is, if you have low attrition and you have solid margins, then maybe the investment isn't right for you to move forward. I can tell you we have 52 of these, and we feel the pain of local market retail everywhere. We feel the pain of, more and more retail stations are putting up, 3-4 lane diesel islands behind the shop or on the side that are coming into these markets because diesel margins historically have been so strong that everybody wants a little piece of it. I think that's really what drives it is if you don't offer something better than your competitor, then you're going to lose your accounts and your customers. And that's one of the things that we started seeing from the 2005 and 6 crash on up is that a lot of those companies went out of business, got bought by bigger ones expect more and expect better, and then those that are in, they're going to go to where it's amenity rich for them or there's some value. Again, we drive the value of time. We have a dedicated sales force that's out in every market that we have on a regular basis, and they really promote the time in, time out. How much does labor cost you to go in and buy fuel for the time that you spend it? We turn around and go back, we can save you X on that labor from a retail station. And we're card agnostic. We do have our own card. We do carry our own AR. We have our own RFID tag that we have, in addition to accepting ComData's and EFS's RFID tags. But we really want the gallons. The volume is what drives the business. The more volume you can put through that site 24/7, the better your return is going to be on that asset sitting there.
Great. So I just want to let everyone know that's on the call that we did record today's webinar, so you can share it with others at your office if you prefer. And Josh, I want to thank you so much for spending so much time with us today. It's just fascinating what you've done, and I'm also really proud that PriceAdvantage and Skyline had the opportunity to work with you on continuing basis and to watch you guys keep succeeding. So we look forward to working with you on additional locations and getting the signs up and watching you gobble up that market share.
And before I go too, we have a long-term plan of what we want to be when we grow up. You've heard me allude to it several times, and one of that is expansion. And we have an a la carte expansion model to where we can go and pick and choose and be a partner. We can take over. We're into purchasing out existing sites because we believe in our product that much and how we can market it. And we're coming on now. We're fixing to add on 3 new stations in the Dallas market where we found an excellent partner down there that has sites that they like what we do, we like what they do, and we're going to start marketing. And PriceAdvantage is going to, we've already, Allison knows, added those stations into PriceAdvantage so we can start working on what our pricing strategy will be there. And we've already started ordering through Skyline to get, where we're going to put pricing signs and how we're going to do that. But, we want to be, in our mind, we want to be the FedEx of fueling when we grow up, to use that terminology. We want to be the fastest, reliable, and quality, and provide a network across, all the footprints that we feel and we deem that it will be profitable to us.
Well, we're excited. We're excited to watch you grow. If there aren't any more questions, I think we'll end the webinar for today. We are also going to follow up because there are some industry resources that we want to share with you. I know that Josh is a part of Sigma, and he's a part of a study group for, is it specific for card lock locations, Josh?
Yeah, they have several study groups for different aspects, but they do have a card lock study group, and they have an annual meeting in Texas generally, and this year it's in San Antonio coming up in September, that I'm going to be working with PriceAdvantage to kind of go over, how did we reinvigorate and what can you do to reinvigorate your station. So if you have questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with the right person. Or if you're already a Sigma member, I encourage you to join if you have questions or you're curious about what we did and what we're planning on doing.
Perfect. Well, we'll send a few links to some other resources out to the attendees, just because we want you to succeed, and there's some great resources that you can leverage to help. So I want to thank everyone who attended today. Josh, again, thank you very much. We appreciate everyone's time, and we want you to have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.